Archetypal Pattern Fundamentals of Non-Traditional Psychoanalysis. Chapter 1, from Carl Gustav Jung's Archetypes of the Collective Unconscious to Individual Archetypal Patterns. Written by Andrey Davydov and Olga Skorbatuk. Translated by Anonymous. Edited by Kate Basilevsky. Narrated by Kevin Iggens. From Carl Gustav Jung's Archetypes of the Collective Unconscious to Individual Archetypal Patterns. It's a well-known fact that neither Sigmund Freud nor his student, Carl Gustav Jung, were the first scientists to start their quest in the field of the unconscious. Prior to them, Carl Gustav Karras and Eduard von Hartmann had worked on the philosophy of the unconscious, though the very idea was once ousted by the fashionable empiricism and materialism of the time, the concept being naturally scientific in psychology. However, despite the greatest discoveries in this area, the soul, as the basis for human psyche, was not only failed to be found, but its very existence was denied. The results of this fact might be well observed nowadays in psychology, philosophy, and medicine. No soul, no foundation. No foundation, no house. No pivot, nothing to put the rest on. And possibly not knowing the modern human being is the very cause of massive fragmentation or splitting of the conscious regardless of the diagnosis. True, we could be quite content with what we have already discovered in the fields of psychology, philosophy, and religion, but these findings don't make us fully satisfied. Also, they don't explain who we are, why we are in this world, and what's our purpose. In other words, they don't answer the questions of vital importance. In fact, we don't expect to be truly happy with answers to the most important everyday questions. And the proof to this lies in general disharmony in various spheres of our lives, as well as the very fact of continuous search for human soul. We were quite positive that it was the profound or deep psychology that could help us in this search. The reason being the very fact that whatever lay on the surface had already been discovered, though unfortunately was not worth discovering. In Jung's view, deep psychology was similar to archaeology, and prior to him, Sigmund Freud many a time compared psychoanalysis with this science as well, since according to him, Jung dealt with the excavation of soul. If arche means origin, then deep psychology should deal with archaeological excavation of human psyche rather than rocks, penetrating the former as the basis of consciousness. After all, psychology, like all other sciences, is meant to study the universal and the particular, trying to find common patterns in something individual. However, it is well known that common patterns do not lie on the surface. Therefore, scientists try to get to the bottom, going deeper and deeper. So we've decided one more time to try and find the very basis of human psyche, the cornerstone, which gives rise to the rest of the structure. And, until the end of the tangle is found, we won't be able to unwind the ladder in order to understand what human psyche, which someone may refer to as soul, is all about. Since the main scientific source for our psychological research are materials primarily borrowed from Carl Gustav Jung, 1875 to 1961, we would like to focus our attention on the works of this great Swiss psychiatrist, psychoanalyst, and psychologist. It is important for analyzing his conception of archetypes and their effect on human psyche. Examining his theory, our task will be to determine in what part our views on the subconscious are the same as those of Jung's and where they are cardinally different. Before we start discussing archetypes both in general and from different angles, it would be only logical to give them proper definition. The noun archetype comes from two Greek words, arch, origin, and typos, form, pattern. During the latter period in ancient philosophy, the above concept was used to describe the prototype or
Sample complete. Ready to continue?